Yeah.
Because
I think
right,
we should give him a round of applause for that.
I hate smoking, but once they outlawed smoking inside bars, I actually asked the owner of a bar I was in, can I light a cigarette? And he's like, yeah, sure, man. I smoked a cigarette in a bar. It's the only time I've ever smoked in my life, was in defiance of a fucking stupid law.
So maybe this rebellious part of you is why they invite you to play roles that are kind of different from what's
maybe that's it. You're right. I do hate arbitrary authority. Like, I hate people that wanna throw their shit on you, right? Their worldview, their values, they should be yours, and so they're gonna legally impose that shit on you. Fuck off. Mind your own business. Clean your own house up. And then get back to me. Maybe we'll have a discussion, but I'm a free person, you're a free person, we're all free people. Don't fuck with me.
So this freedom thing, do you believe in determinism? Or
No.
do you think it's all about free will?
I don't believe in determinism. We have free will. Of course we have free will. How do I know that we have free will? How do I know? Because I can experience it. It's a directly perceptual thing. You experience it, you point to it and say, there it is. I know it's very fashionable now for guys like, you guys listen to Sam Harris or any of those neuroscientists?
Robert Sapolsky, yes.
All those guys are like, there's no free will. Well, really, what the fuck are you doing now, bro?
They have free will to stop these stupid podcasts, but they don't.
Well, it's because it makes them look good,
Okay, do you think this skepticism...
Let's start a fucking revolution, man!
Yeah, here. Do you think this skepticism towards religion helped you play roles like Lucifer?
I mean, what I like about Supernatural is it's not really about the supernatural, it's about family, right? In all kinds of different dimensions. The Winchesters and their dysfunctional family, dysfunctional relationship with each other and their parents, what that did to them. And when you get up higher on the ladder to the angels and the archangels, there you just find out, well, they're just a fucked up family too. With an absentee father and, brothers that are fighting and alienated from each other, and one brother that has a yearning for justice. That's what I related to in the Lucifer character. Not only that he was a rebel against arbitrary authority, but he wanted justice. Don't walk out on me, I'm busy talking. Where the fuck are you going?
By the microphone to ask you questions.
Oh, okay. No, you're leaving. You're fucking leaving. Have fun storming the castle.
I wouldn't want to be you.
I know where you live.
Well, you should know everything. Okay.
No, my wife knows everything. I don't know everything.
So, going back to dysfunctional families, I was going through different scientific studies about talent and creativity, and we as a society, it seems like we tend to romanticize talent while ignoring conditions and environment. Do you agree with that? That sometimes the conditions that we grow in and experience are more important than something that was given to us when we come to this earth?
I think they're both important factors. What you're born with and what kind of atmosphere you grow up in certainly help or hurt you. They can be an obstacle or they could be a key for you. But in the end, I am still a proponent of free will. And to the best of your ability, you can overcome a shit beginning and no talent if you work your ass off and you really direct your actions towards the things that you think are good for you. I think you can mostly attain that stuff, irrespective of where you came from. I'm not a determinist in any respect. I do think it has an influence on you, but it's not the deciding factor in what you become.
But have you met actors or, musicians who could have been great but they weren't because the conditions and the environment were not favorable to them.
It's not just, yeah, I mean, sure, you can meet people who are ahead of their time and people aren't ready for what they're offering, right? Van Gogh was a perfect example of an artist who was great, but outside of his time, and nobody except his brother, unfortunately, bought his art. And so, until, of course, he was gone, and then people realized what a talent he was. Yeah, there are tragic stories like that. The great actor Bruno Kirby, I don't know if you know Bruno Kirby. Do you guys remember Bruno Kirby? Did you guys ever see City Slickers? Or When Harry Met Sally? Did you guys ever see When Harry Met Sally? So he's the friend who, it's hard to, he's the friend who ends up getting together with somebody else, and anyway. He's a very good actor, he's passed away, but at one time he said, I know there's somebody driving a cab who can act me under the table, and he was a very good actor. It's a very stark perspective, but it's true. You know, it's a combination of work and ethic and dedication and endurance because you're in this for a long time, and luck. I mean, and whether or not what you're selling is what people are buying. And there certainly are those elements to it. But I still am of the belief that, you know, a strong, determined will can prevail in the end. Maybe that's why I like the Winchesters. Don't tell them that. Is there an alien? What was that? What is that face looking at me? Is that? Oh my God. Hi. Did you see what I'm looking at? Did you see me? Or is it the mushrooms kicking in?
Oh boy.
I didn't take mushrooms, I'm joking.
If mushrooms are kicking in, then I look forward to the last 15 minutes of this.
I'll be taking my pants off over my head.
That's it?
That's
what
it.
we do.
Taking your pants off over your head? Have you ever tried that?
It depends on the pants, you know.
Okay, I think it's creative.
So how much of luck do you think it was for you to get where you are today?
I mean, I just think I used to rehearse 5 times a day. I mean, I spent a lot of time in the theater and then eventually teaching in theater. And my wife teaches in Paris, and I get up there on stage with the people and I act. I do exercises with them. I teach with them. I mean, I guess there's a certain degree of people recognizing that you have something and helping you move forward. I don't know. I mean, I guess the answer to that is I don't know how much luck comes into it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I can't answer that question.
Are you comfortable with not knowing something?
Yeah. Because I don't know more than I know. I mean, I don't know an extraordinary amount of stuff. I mean, I think I read a lot, I read more than most people, and I probably have 1/1 trillionth of the sum total of human knowledge out there. So yeah, I'm mostly stupid.
Us too, I think.
Takes an intelligent person to recognize that.
Oh, thank you. What do you say?
You see, amazing audience.
But you're already awesome. I mean, I already had a discussion with you, so.
I like your makeup.
Thank you.
So,
Sparkles.
yeah, sparkles. Going back to your characters that you play, do you think audiences are more disturbed by villains who just like evil, you know, they're like doing bad things to others, or villains who have who justify somehow what they do? Because all of your characters that you played, it seemed like they justified what they did, that they were right, they were not doing wrong, but still they were disturbing most of the people because they were considered villains, right? So what do you think?
I never play a villain. I never play a bad guy. I'm always playing a good guy. I'm always playing somebody who's. Were you looking at your notes like, wait a minute, did I get that wrong? I was smart to play bad guy. No. Did you? Was that what you were doing? Oh, okay. Yeah.
I saw interviews with you, and you
Oh,
talk about the roles that you play.
So I'm just repeating myself, aren't I?
No, you're not.
Okay, good. Yeah, I don't play bad guys. I don't think you should judge your character in that way, because if you do, you play a caricature of somebody. You don't play a human being, because most people think they're good. Most people think they're doing the right thing. And if they don't think they're doing the right thing, they have really bad self-esteem while they're doing it, and that's the whole other type of character. So yeah, the worst people in the world, some of whom are in positions of power right now as we speak, think they are fantastic. They think they're great people. They think they're on the side of right, and they aren't. So my characters are always pursuing some virtue. Lucifer was pursuing justice. Paul Bennett from Dexter was pursuing a family and trying to get, sobriety and trying to get his life together and be a good father. Well, Jacob is the only immoral character I think I played. See, I say that just because he sacrificed himself for duty. He killed his own brother because his brother had ambition and curiosity and intelligence, and he wanted to fulfill those values. I mean, I would sit there on the beach listening to Titus Welliver, who played the Man in Black, talk about what he wanted. I'd be like, that's pretty good. Like if I were Jacob, Lost wouldn't have gone any further than that, because I would have been like, go dude, have fun, swim across the ocean, do what you gotta do. Instead, I killed him because I had this warped sense of duty and self-sacrifice that was imputed into me from my mom. If you saw the show, she was a nut, and I just followed in the footsteps. And I think that's weak. I really think that's weak.
Demonstrates no free will, because
No free will.
people are dependent on the conditions.
I think duty sucks. You guys know what I mean by duty? Unchosen obligation. Like, you have to do this, and your values, your life, everything about what you think is right is out the window. It doesn't matter. That deontological ethics, it says, under all circumstances, this is so. It doesn't marry your life and value. I think it's stupid. And I believe in moral absolutes. I believe in virtue. Totally, but it has to be connected to your life, right? It has to be connected to your life as a value. Otherwise, it's bullshit.
But doesn't that make it a little bit harder? Because, religion and theological truths, right? They seem to be given like a rule book to people: do this and do that. There's some duties, there's some, blessings from heavens or whatever. And your philosophy makes people think for themselves. Isn't that
please do that.
more
Please
difficult to do?
It is. That's why nobody wants it.
Yeah.
That's why everybody wants the quick solution. If you believe in God, if you believe in Jesus, well, then you don't have to think anymore. If you buy a particular religious dogma, all you gotta do is follow that blindly and you'll be fine. Even if you're miserable in the present, in the material world, in the end you'll get blessed. Bullshit. It is hard to think. It is hard to be your own person. It is hard to stand in the face of people who will pressure you not to be an individual, not to think for yourself, not to pursue your values. It is hard. And that's why people reject it. That's why we live in a mostly irrational society. Because it's easy to fucking not think. I think it's not. I think it hurts you. I think it kills you in the end. And in the end you feel the repercussions of that. But it's super hard to think about yourself. It's super hard to think about your conduct, to introspect, to expose yourself for being wrong, and it's hard to adjust and change and become better, to be aspirational. That's hard. Yeah, man. But it's good work.
What was the hardest thing for you then? Because, even the American president swears by saying, God bless America, and so on. So
It's full of shit.
but still, religion is, in Lithuania as well, a huge part of even of the, of everyday life, so to say. So was it hard for you to lose these constraints?
Yes. Not the constraints. It was hard for me to give up the idea of there being. It was hard for me to give up the idea of there being a God, because I came from a broken home, a fucked up family life, And the idea of, this is getting deep, holy fuck. You guys are like, I just want to come to a Comic Con and have fun. What the fuck are these guys talking about? No, yeah, it really, the idea that there was this dude up there who understood me completely and embraced me and loved me no matter what was very appealing to me. I needed that because I didn't have that growing up. I needed a good dad. I didn't have a dad growing up. But once I was able to let go of that, it was truly liberating, but not at first. At first it was a real culture shock, you know, and I was afraid. I was afraid. It's like letting go of the side of the pool for the first time and swimming in the deep end. You know, as a kid, you're nervous about it until you realize, oh, I can swim. I can swim okay. I'll be all right.
How long did it take you?
Years. Took me years. Yeah, like I'd say 10 or 15 years for me to integrate the philosophy that I was learning and to make it a part of my actual life. It's still a process that I'm doing right now.
So you meet all kinds of different people, and of course you have to work with all kinds of different people. But generally, do you trust people who are really certain of the worldview?
Sure. Well, it depends on what their worldview is. If it's irrational, then I'll have differences with them, and if they're open to persuasion or discussion, I'll try to change their minds. If not, if it's irrational certitude, they're just putting their faith in some dogmatic perspective. No, I don't have any faith in that. But I don't have any problem with certitude. I think certitude is good. I think you can be certain. Even though you don't know everything, you can be certain. And you can be right and certain.
Can you be open and certain?
Yeah, you can be active and certain. If you have a mind that's too open, your brains will fall out. But if you have an active mind, that means that everything that comes in your path, including your own premises, including your own conclusions about things, you question and you see if it's true. So I think everybody should be active-minded. Don't accept anything passively that somebody tells you, unless it's self-evident, like this table exists. Now there's people who will tell you this table doesn't exist, all right? They'll tell you that what is directly perceivable isn't so. Anyway.
Can you share, to get a little deeper, maybe can you share, of course, if you want, like the last time, or an example of how you question your own beliefs or conclusions about something?
I have to question them all the time because I put them out in the public sphere. So because I put them out, and often I put them out there in a bit rudely, because I'm dealing with idiot assholes. And so I don't believe in being nice to people who are not nice. But unfortunately, it reflects badly on me, so I have to change that behavior. But that's what I'm trying to work with. But I put my ideas out there all the time. They're open for anybody to critique, and a lot of times I have very fruitful and interesting conversations with people. So they're there all the time. So I'm constantly challenging my perspective, because there's always opposition out there. And measuring whether or not what I'm saying in return is actually true or good, more true or better than their concept. And if they are winning, then I have to concede. So I've conceded some things. I've conceded some things recently to my partner who does a podcast with me, who's even much more well-read than I am even. And we've had debates on a couple of topics, and I think he's gotten the better of me, and it's changed my perspective on things. So, yeah, sure.
We live in a culture where performance bleeds into everyday life. Social media, branding. We even use wording like, "Oh, I'm in a role, I'm in another role. I'm playing my role," and something like that. Do you instantly recognize when people are not honest and when they are just playing a role in your life because you're a professional artist and you
mean
know?
Like in everyday life when I interact with them? I don't know. I don't know if I always recognize that. I don't know if I'm the best. I feel like I want to cultivate some naivete. Do you guys understand what I mean by that? I don't think it's, I want to be innocent. I don't want to be cynical about everybody that crosses my path. So there can be times when somebody can take advantage of that. And you know, I don't think I'm particularly wise about sussing out who's evil in the world, or who's necessarily right or wrong.
Yeah, you did. We will start Q&A shortly. We will have around 10 minutes for that, so you can line up by the microphone. I still have my questions, but maybe you have better ones, as I can see from the comments from the audience.
The person with the mask is freaking me out.
You need to ask a question now. I mean, yeah.
Don't be afraid.
I don't have any questions.
I believe you have some questions.
What? With a mask on, you're intimidated?
That's just a mask, so.
Okay. It's very. What's that from? What is that from? That mask?
Not very specifically. That's just I had made Ram skull mask.
Oh God. Okay. Cool. Awesome. Okay.
Yeah, loving this. You said that you avoided watching your own work, but you started doing that, right?
Yeah.
So was there something, I don't know, surprising about you watching your earlier performances that you were like, oh my God, I did well. I did better than I expected.
Oh, maybe. I don't watch the early stuff very much because I was just trying to learn, and you know, you don't have much of a sense of, at least I should speak for myself. I didn't really have much of a sense of self, you know, in my 20s and even into my 30s. I started to come into myself later on. So it's probably hard to watch some of that really early stuff, but yeah, I learned from Jeff Bridges and Jeff Goldblum to watch the takes if you can, and you know, when you're doing television, you don't always have directors that you can necessarily trust. If you're doing 23 episodes of television, then they're just coming in as a hired hand, don't know the story, don't know you, and so you have to sort of take control of as much of the product as you can. And that's hard because you don't have any say-so in the end of what they're going to take and how they're going to edit anything. But what you can do is look at the takes and see if it makes sense to you, if what you were doing actually came across. And if so, then you can tell somebody, hey, I like take 2 and I like take 4, those are my favorites, just to put it in their ear. You know, but every actor is different, so actors don't like to look at themselves at all. What? Crazy so big. Yeah, no, I mean, I understand that. I understand it. If you can't do that without becoming self-conscious, then you shouldn't do it. But if it doesn't make you self-conscious, then by all means, it's a good tool. Yeah.
So please correct me if I'm wrong, but regarding your roles and your personal story, you mentioned it a little bit. A lot of artists talk about suffering. They say that good art only comes from suffering.
Bullshit.
Why?
Such bullshit. Because it's what we've been taught. We've been taught that, and it's not a bad thing to really think that, guys, because it certainly turns suffering into something positive and good, right? If you have that outlet, and art is your way of getting out that stuff, whatever negativism that suffering might cause you, or if it helps you take your mind off of suffering for a while, then fine. I actually think all that crap, it's an obstacle to you touching your inner self, your authentic truth. It's an obstacle to your emotional life. It's an obstacle to your fulfillment as a human being. Those things are obstacles you have to overcome. Suffering sucks. Don't think it's a virtue. It's not a virtue. You can turn it into a virtue by being as human as possible. while you're suffering by always striving to overcome it. I'll never forget when I was doing Lost. They did this special on this guy who was born with a congenital defect. He had no arms and no legs. And he's out there playing soccer. I was like, this guy is fucking extraordinary. I mean, and then I go in the elevator and he's in the fucking elevator. And I was like, dude, I just saw you on TV. You are freaking amazing. How do you do it? For him, it was God. For him, he's like, did they get the Jesus stuff into that? I said, yeah, they did. They talked about you and your relationship with God. Well, for him, it makes him a hero. I could look up to him and say, wow, I mean, why do I complain about my problems when he has this tremendous disability and he treats it like it's not even there? It's like he seems to be only limited by his own mind. I love people like that. But no, suffering to me is if you can turn it into gold, great. If it helps your art, if you can transform it and make it into something that can help other people transform, great. But most of the time, it's just bullshit. Suffering is bullshit.
Totally agree.
Do you guys get me, or am I just talking
Yep.
out my ass?
No, we get you.
You do?
Look at them, they are completely engaged.
Is that what you guys are doing?
Mesmerized.
We are.
Okay.
Amazing. So my last question before we go to Q&A, because I see you have amazing people lining up. You mentioned looking up to people, right? Can you mention a couple of people that you look up to? Not necessarily from movies, because I imagine, reading books and discussing religion, objectivism, and so on, you meet amazing human beings.
Yeah, I mean, look, I look up to my wife. I think she's got an amazing work ethic. She's a very talented writer and director, and she's a great teacher.
And your wife is here.
She is. She's over there somewhere. What's up, bucket?
Hi.
So I look up to her because she's got this great stuff, and when she is doing a project, she does what Frank Darabont, the great director, does. I asked him one time, how do you do it? How do you do your projects? He's like, Mark, I have one talent. I have the talent to sit my ass in the seat until the job is done. And she's got that talent, the ability to sit in the seat until the job is done and see it all the way through. A film that she just won another award. I'm a little jelly because it was one of the other actors who won Best Supporting Actor. But she wrote the thing in like 3.5 weeks and pretty much produced the whole thing herself. She would tell you that's not the case, but it was just an act of will on her part that got it done, and I love that stuff. I like that. People in it's hard to find heroes nowadays, man. Like, because we worship the anti-heroic, and we don't. That's one of the reasons I love Supernatural, is because the Winchesters are heroes, man. Right? I mean, they fucking take on God and they go like this. Fuck you, we're gonna do it our way, and we're gonna let love and loyalty lead us. Fuck you and your narrative. I dig that shit, right? I dig that. And we don't have enough of that in the world. And I can't think of actors that I admire in that way who I think in real life are heroic. I can't really think of any offhand. But and I'm reading Jack London now. I'm reading The Iron Heel, which is just dismal. So it's like, it's hard to find even writers, aside from Ayn Rand and Robert Heinlein, people like that who had an exalted view of humanity and were, in your face about it. So many people are just, giving me the heebie-jeebies, but they hate people. It's fashionable to hate people now. I don't hate people. I think people are amazing. We're capable
Humans
of.
are amazing, right?
Humans are amazing. Look, we're capable. The shitty ones are capable of enormous damage. But then you see the Artemis 2 going around the room and you're like, fuck, people are amazing, man. Or you see the pictures coming back from Mars and you're like, fucking people are doing that. Or you just hear that, wow, the probe that they sent into space 30 some odd years ago is now past the Kuiper meteor belt. It's now into deep space. It's the furthest probe and it's still sending
Two of them.
It's one light day away from Earth, and it's still sending signals back to Earth. Fucking people rock. You know, and I'm like, that's what I think. I'm so sick and fucking tired of the narrative that people suck. The dark bullshit, somber narrative that people's like, that's not deep, dudes. That's not deep. It's not deep to say people suck. It's easy. Cynicism is fucking easy. You're mentally lazy if you're a cynic. You're not sophisticated. You're not cool. You suck. You suck yourself. You know, it's much more work, right? But also much better recognizing reality if you just say people rock. I like people. Sorry, I do.
Carl Sagan said humans are capable of great things, so it just adds up to your.
They are, and it's so self-evident. It's almost self-evident, but it's like not anymore. The self-evident isn't evident anymore.
Okay, it's getting too deep. Maybe you have a question. Okay, the first one.
Hello there.
Don't you run away from me, guys.
Too deep for them.
Please. No, they're getting an autograph. It's okay. I hope it's mine.
Thank you for coming and speaking here. I was wondering, clearly you have a thing for rejecting the force, rebellious kind of approach to life. And you also, as I understand, have a passion for teaching. So, how is there a way to channel that in a very more productive way? Sometimes things can get quite messy. Any tips or your personal experience with that?
Well, I mean, I think teaching is very productive, and what I love about teaching is what I think John Adams loved about teaching. He said once when he used to teach before he became president. He said teaching is the one eternal job. You never know where your influence ends, right? You can say one thing to somebody, plant one seed in their mind, and it changes someone, and then generations after them are changed by that one seed. So to me, that's a very constructive thing, because when I teach acting, to me, acting, as an actor, you should be as versed in as many human subjects as you possibly can. And so oftentimes class can become about stuff that's not technically acting. And I feel it's those times when I'm constructively challenging somebody's premises or they're challenging mine, that they grow and change and that they see things from a slightly different perspective that changes them forever. Now the technique that we teach also does that. It's very transformative, and so I love seeing that click in somebody's eye, when all of a sudden they wake up. You see it happen. They just wake up and they become a different person for the better. So that's good. I mean, you can write material, you can, the Substacks now, you can write stuff to put ideas out there that are interesting to people, do videos, short form videos or stuff that I think can add constructively to the conversation. Certainly not X. Don't go, I'm on that fucking medium, too much, and it's just disgusting. And I met a lot of great people through that platform, but there's also a lot of idiots and very bad people in there that like to take up oxygen. So you can't have any constructive conversations there. And when I first got on in 2014, I thought, oh, this is cool. No, it's not. It's awful. There's so many ways now with media and people who become popular with media that you could really seed some ground. But I gotta warn you in advance: the assholes and the crazy people are the popular ones, and the people who have a brain, I don't know where they are, but they don't have 1 million or 2 million followers.
And Donald Trump, he's the president.
Yeah, yes, unfortunately. But then there's the Hassan Pikers of the world who are just despicable human beings, And, you know, they have millions upon millions of followers, the Donald Trump, millions upon millions of people who've sucked the Kool-Aid and they won't change. I wish real rational advocates for a real individualism could get out there and become popular, but it's a lot of fucking work, and people don't want to work. They want their soul to be fixed by magic. They want things to be better by magic. And that's just not the way it's going to work. So, do you have any ideas? Okay, help me, please.
Sorry, can't help that.
Well, I mean, I don't think I'm giving a very romantic message, right? It's not a romantic message,
It's eye-opening, so
is it?
planting the seeds.
Okay. Yeah, it's not romantic though. It's not kumbaya. It's not, you know, let's all love each other. It's something else, and it's I think it's foreign to a lot of people. But I don't know. We'll figure it out together. Come right table and help me. All right, man.
Just to add one question to this amazing question, do you think we as a civilization are at the point where we can be better? Because I remember in one of your interviews you mentioned Steven Pinker, and Steven Pinker speaks about cultural revolution instead of biological one, the very aggressive that we are passing right now. So are we ready as a civilization to be better to each other?
No. No, I mean, I think people are embracing the wrong things in an attempt to fix what's broken. They're misdiagnosing the problem and prescribing more of the same shit that caused the problem in the first place. And the solution, I don't think they're ready for. Not on a mass scale yet.
Well, Bob Marley said one love, so maybe one day.
Well, it's not one love, it's something else, and that's why I think people are ready for the one love message in a way. They're just not ready for what is better than that, in my view.
Thank you, amazing. Next question.
Okay, so hi. A lot of what you said actually resonated with me a lot, and I have a question in terms of depicting characters and depicting specifically on one hand villains and on the other heroes. So in your opinion and experience, what do you think actually makes a villain scary and like realistic, and what on the other hand makes a real hero in a story?
I think what makes a villain scary is nihilism. And what I mean by nihilism is the joy that one takes in destroying values. Right? That's scary because that person doesn't care about life. If you get a villain who doesn't care about life, that's a scary dude. And there are villains in the world today that make a show of not caring about life. And a lot of popular movements out there claim to be for life, but they're actually not. They're very nihilistic and cynical. So that to me makes a really scary villain. And to me, a hero is somebody who stands on virtue in the face of overwhelming pressure to compromise. That's a hero. And anybody can be a hero. Anybody can be a hero. And I guess anybody could be a villain. It just depends on what values you hold, or what values you hate, what values you love, right? So yeah, to me, a hero is anybody who rises to the occasion, right? Who believes that attaining values is possible even against overwhelming odds, and who can sustain the pressure to compromise a virtue. And not compromise that virtue. That's what a hero is. You can be a hero in every day of your life. And I think you should be in every day of your life.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, amazing question. Next.
Hello, I wanted to ask, what do you do in preparation to play the characters that you play? And like if you do anything besides just learning all your lines, obviously. And if you do, how is that different depending which character you play?
Yeah, it depends on the script and what the script tells me. what I do always, irrespective of other homework, is I read the script a lot of times. You know, they say that Robert Duvall, the great actor Robert Duvall, and Anthony Hopkins, their technique is to read a script 200 times and then give yourself over to the imaginary circumstances, right? And that's not so far from my take. You read a script a couple hundred times if you have the time to do it. Normally I don't have enough time to read it 200 times, but I read it 2, 3, 4 times a day until it's time to do it. That's how I memorize it, you know, by just rereading, and rereading. And then if the script suggests, you know, that I have deep past narratives, stories, and relationships with people, then I do my homework. You know, I write in notebooks, I fantasize and daydream, and sometimes I have to read books about either a time or a place. When I did Capote, I read. Did you guys ever see Capote? The movie Capote? You guys should see it. It's a good movie. Anyway, I read the book In Cold Blood that Truman Capote wrote 6 times, and I played Dick Hickok, who was one of the killers in it, and I went through all of his testimony and listened to him on tape, what they had for tape in 1959. And so, you know, when I did Bishop for Being Human, they gave me some suggestion about when I was made as a vampire. So I actually went back to Defoe's The Plague Year and read all about London during the Plague Year. And I knew what profession I was in London, where I lived in London. I mean, you don't have to do all that kind of shit, but some shows I do that kind of work, and other shows I just learn the lines, know what I'm doing, how I feel about it, and let it go. And sometimes you have a characterization that's outside your straight behavior, right? It's not the way you act in real life, and then you have to practice that and play with it so that it becomes real to you. And so there's, you know, a variety of approaches depending on the script. The main thing is reading the script a lot, and then just being free and playing like a kid. You know, just give yourself over to the circumstances and see what happens. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Playing your role, it has 2 different meanings. Amazing.
Play, yeah. You know, what I tell students all the time, because they get so serious as actors, you know, they want to be good. It's like, it's called a play. It's called a play, so be a kid, right? That's the one of the things I love about this job is that I get to be 6 years old all the time.
Next question, thank you.
This will be the last question.
Aww.
Our last question. I'm sorry.
Good afternoon, and the question I want to ask is that I know that you played multiple characters in multiple shows, and I want to know what are the traits that you inherited from the roles that you played.
Traits I inherited?
Yeah.
I think in later seasons of Lucifer, it's a hard thing to say I inherited them, because I think I gave Lucifer these traits, but then he sort of gave them back to me too. Like the childlike playfulness, like he's like a 6-year-old and, you know, with no rules, just sort of throwing tantrums all the time. Or playing practical jokes on people. I mean, that kind of element sticks with me, I guess. Can't think of any other traits that I even want from any of the characters that I've played. Yeah, I think that's about it. It's the playfulness of Lucifer.
So you were more giving the characters than rather receiving them.
Yeah, that's an interesting way of looking at it. Yeah, because it does feel sometimes when you're in the moment like you're receiving them.
Yes.
It's just happening because you're open and your subconscious is just doing its thing, and so things happen that you couldn't predict. But in the end, you're sort of, you know, giving it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. And yes, I love Bishop from Being Human.
Oh, thank you.
Amazing. Wow.
Thank you.
What I got from this conversation is that it's cool to be nice. It's way cooler to be nice to other people, and to believe that humans are capable of great things than to be a nihilist and saying, you stupid, you stupid.
Yeah.
So thank you for coming. Thank you for this amazing conversation. I think we can all say a huge and noisy thank you.